Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Red and Blue Crew podcast. This is one of the greatest moments of my lifetime with me, Ben Cooper.
And me, Eden Rosen.
So, we have a lot to get to. I'm sure you guys know that the Leafs have won the first round and first time in 19 years. And the Leafs are going to the second round against, would you say, Eden, who would you say is going to win the Game 7, Florida or Boston?
Florida or Boston? Well, it really depends. Where are they playing? They're playing in Boston?
I believe so.
Okay. It depends, really. So Tampa's at their full strength. And they do really well at home. They do really well everywhere in the regular season. But Florida has actually bounced back really good, and obviously pushed it to Game 7 when Boston was leading 3-1. So personally for me, I think it's gonna be Boston in overtime, and I just think that because Boston just has all the clutch players to pull this off, and you already know who I'm gonna say. All the superstars. Marchand has been red hot. Pasta, Olmark, and Bergeron, and all their people are just so good. But Florida, I do think they're gonna pose a little bit of a challenge against Boston. I'd also like to think that they would pose a little challenge. But yeah, it's gonna be a really, really good game to watch. Ben, what about you?
Yeah, I think the road teams have proven to be better because there's way less pressure on you, and yeah, but I think for Boston there is so much pressure going into this series because they're the heavy favorite to win the Stanley Cup. So when there's that much pressure on you, and then you take the first 3 games and then lose the next 3, you just kind of lose confidence, and now there's so much pressure on you to win that Game 7. But obviously, I want Florida to win because underdogs and because they are the second wild card, and against the Leafs would be really nice instead of the first place team in the NHL, best team in history.
But do you think Boston deserves to win?
Well, yeah, I think they lost their last games just because they weren't trying the most, and the last game there was 7 goals in the third period, which is really amazing. So many goals, yeah.
And in the last Florida versus Boston game, I'm getting all these superstars mixed up. Pasternak scored an impossible between the legs goal on the power play, was it? Or was it just 5 on? I think it was 5-on-5 from a feed from Marchand. It was just a regular feed, but he just pulled it between his legs and roofed it top shelf. He's just too good for this world.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the rest of the teams that have been eliminated. So the team that was eliminated first was Winnipeg, and Vegas wins 4-1. So yeah, Winnipeg fans obviously really disappointed. There might be a rebuild, and it's really
Rebuild,
sad.
Benny. Not the full on, take away. No. They made the playoffs, so they might try to trade for a few guys, but they're not taking away their whole roster.
Yeah. I think Pierre-Luc Dubois, there's been a couple of rumors about him being traded and maybe going to Montreal. That's what a bunch of people said.
Mm-hmm.
For maybe Kirby Doc.
No.
Those were the rumors. Obviously, it's not that easy because it didn't happen. So yeah,
Kirby Doc is a rising star. They're not gonna trade a guy unless he's like really bad at the start of the next season.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, and obviously Winnipeg's coach had some words to say, and it was just disappointment and no pushback. That's just the story of Winnipeg, is what he said, more or less. So next series, Edmonton wins 4-2. This makes me really happy because I really wanted Edmonton to win that, and now they're playing Vegas, so I don't know. I think this is gonna go to 7. Vegas versus Edmonton. What do you think?
Definitely. These are two really, really good teams with lots of talent just packed on the roster, and they also have that grit. Leon Draisaitl has been playing like an absolute monster, like absolute. He's absolutely a beast out there on both uh, their end and the defensive end. He's just been like sticks in there, hitting people, but also getting a lot of goals. And with Vegas, you have Mark Stone. You have oh, you have great people. What I'm saying is, yeah, it's definitely gonna be a tough series. But also the Dallas, and then who do you think's gonna win for the Avalanche and the Kraken?
Well, I think the word we do not say matters very much. Yeah, it matters a lot, and I obviously Seattle does not have it because this is their first ever in the playoffs, first season ever in the playoffs. And yeah, and we've talked about how it's their second year, and they're the first wild card. And
Dave, why'd you drop that? Sorry, guys.
And sorry, I lost my. And Colorado is just like they've blown up and they've become like a very good team in the past couple of years, and obviously defending Stanley Cup champions. So I don't know. I had Colorado winning, but now that it's going to Game 7, I just don't know.
Yep. Well, you can never be too sure, but I would always count on the word we must not be named rather than new talent. So, but Carolina and the New York Islanders. Carolina wins 4-2 in the series. This is one that I was actually hoping, even though I put Carolina to win on my playoff bracket, I was really hoping the Islanders would win because I always love to see underdogs take it over. But unfortunately, Carolina won 4-2, and I mean, it was probably gonna end up like this, but we got a really interesting series with the New York Rangers and the Devils tied 3-3. Game 7 coming, and I think I'm going with the Rangers. I really do, because they just have all the weapons. They have the Breadman, Panarin. They have Kreider. He's been really good for them on the power play. Trocheck. They have Jacob Trouba, who's laying those hits. Patty Kane, obviously. Did I already say Sabanachad?
Nope.
Okay, Sabanachad. And of course, they have the late Igor. So I mean, Igor's really gotta perform. He's gotta use those hips of his, and he's gotta really step it up here, because the Devils. But as I said, like, I would rather go with the word that must not be named rather than new talent.
Yeah, and Rangers have all the weapons, like you said, and Chris Kreider has 6 goals and 9 points, and Adam Fox has assisted on most of Kreider's goals, so he has 8 assists. But for New Jersey, most of their players, like their superstars, haven't really showed up. Their lead point point getter, I guess you would say, point scorer, is Eric Holla. And yeah, he's 5 points and 3 goals. So yeah, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like their special teams haven't performed during this stretch of first round. But it is Game 7, so obviously the Devils have pushed back and fought. Yeah. So
You want to take a quick break? We'll be
Yeah.
right back.
yeah, we'll be right back.
And we are rolling. Okay, we are back from our small break. So we were gonna talk about the who now? The Canes?
Here. No. Oh, okay. Here. We just need to get something set up. So I'm gonna talk about my experience I had yesterday. So yesterday we went to the Coca-Cola Coliseum where the Marlies play. So we skated on their ice and then went for lunch and then came back and watched the Marlies game. The Marlies lost 7-2. It wasn't really a good game, but they're in the second round and they are 1-1. Yeah, the series is tied 1-1. And then right after, we went home, went to my uncle's house. And me and my cousins watched the Leafs game from start to finish, watching every play, every minute of the game. And when they won, we jumped up and hugged and spun in a circle, and then we paraded the streets of Toronto. Yeah. So, are we ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, which series?
Carolina, what are we talking? Should we do? Okay, so
Let's get deeper into
okay. Sorry, I'm gonna have a bit of a cold right now, but anyways, so the Maple Leafs, Pappy. So on Pappy's goal, in case you don't know who Pappy is Austin Matthews' nickname. Anyways, so the play where he got his goal, he was absolutely buzzing in the zone. He had 2 shots and nearly missed, one ripped off the blocker, and then he finally got a 1-T in from Brody. It actually tipped a Tampa stick and went just over Vazzy's shoulder, I think. And that's how it went, and he was just so happy. And it was great work by him. He was absolutely cranking that shift, and he definitely worked hard, and the goal came out of it. So always good to see players work hard. And yeah, what do you think of this goal, man?
Yeah, I think they showed this on the broadcast with Elliot Friedman. So Austin Matthews is in the slot, and he points with his stick to where he's going to go in his spot. And Brody hits him before he's even there, so nobody has time to get on him. That's why he's kind of turning. And the shot was so hard because he turned his hips, and then the torque from his hips came out, and the flexed the shaft, and it was a high quality one-timer. Yeah, so, and then Steven Stamkos scored a goal to make it...
Can I talk about this goal? I was watching it. Obviously, I watched from the national anthem to the Tavares goal every second, every play, like Ben. Shame I wasn't watching it with him, but the Stamkos goal, it was an absolutely defensive breakdown from Toronto. Absolutely. So that you have 2 guys trapped on the boards. Matthews is kind of like floating around, and then Nyes did not win that battle against Sorelli, and he got it up to the point. So this goal is like, and Giordano should have. Oh, sorry, Nylander is floating in no man's land. He should have. Um, he should have. He went to cover his point man, but he should just stay there and try to like float in the middle and try to deny that pass, because Giordano tries to think, what do I do, and he tries to cover both guys. He doesn't end up covering any people, so it's like a total waste. And then they get a rebound in off of a muffin, and Stamkos bats it in. It was just absolute defensive breakdown. They could have won in regulation if this hadn't happened. So yeah.
And I thought the Leafs, easily their best player was Ilya Samsonov. He shut the door.
Oh, yeah. He was standing on his head that game.
Yeah, he had like 5 highlight reel saves. So overtime. It's John Tavares works it along the boards, takes a lap, shoots. Vazzy
squeaks by Vazzy.
Yeah, Vazzy's not expecting it at all. He just turns around and rips that shot. And yeah, it just squeaks by Vazzy. Nyes wins that battle on the boards, passes it to Tavares. He circles the net, and then spins and shoots, and it just trickles by. And at that point, all of Toronto went crazy. So that was just a really, really fun moment.
And Sheldon Keefe, I've never seen Sheldon Keefe jump that high. He was like a bunny rabbit on steroids. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, and me and my cousins made a joke when Kyle Dubas jumped. He was saying, "I'm not fired. I have a job.
Let's go." Yeah.
Yeah. So, just some happiness from the Leafs coaching staff and GM. Just almost pure luck, but just the skill level and the word we do not speak about in the playoffs is just John Tavares is just such a smart player, and he just gets it done, and it's really nice. So that will wrap up today's short episode. We will see you midway through the second round. We'll go with that. And when all of the game 7s are over. Yeah. So, we gotta do the schedule. Eden is doing his first ever schedule, so everybody applaud him.
While you search up the if we got any messages.
Okay.
So for today, it's April 30th. Remember, these are all these are all Eastern time. We have the exciting Florida and Boston Game 7 at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and that you can watch that on Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada. And TNT. Yeah, and then Seattle at Colorado. This will be a fun one. I don't know if my parents will allow me to stay up late to watch it, but hopefully yes. So this is 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Also Sportsnet, TNT, and a few others. And then today we are recording this at 12:22 p.m. It's Sunday, April 30th. Yeah. Ben, did we get any messages?
We have no messages. Don't forget to email us. And when you subscribe, you have joined the Red and Blue Crew. So far, Eden, talk about your experience while I get to the YouTube page.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So, my experience watching the game, you mean? Yeah. Okay, so we did an interview with him actually, Hunter McPhee. If you remember him, he was actually on. He's on. We did a interview with him when we were on Podbean. We only have 3 episodes, Well, when we post this 4. And so Hunter, sorry about that. Um, he, so I got nicely invited to his house and watch the game with his family. It was super fun. Um, and yeah, his dad was he's just like such a hockey fan, and it was like super fun. We just witnessed all of it, start to finish. Oh, and oh my God, the Leafs scored. Yeah, it was just amazing experience overall.
Yeah, so there are officially 14 of you in the Red and Blue crew. Thank you, and 16, including me and Eden. So, thank you guys for subscribing, and have a good Sunday.
Wait. Remember to comment on our video, like, and subscribe. Okay, guys?
Okay, see you guys. See you guys next time we do our podcast. Have a good Sunday.